let's start one more time.
So is that one good, or is it like wrong?
Sorry?
Is that one good, or like how are my sixths?
This one is good. This one is great. It's when you have the major sixths, when the fingers start really spreading apart very far, and that's for example, if you have G and B flat, your B flat is really long. It sounds like this, almost like yeah. Okay. So be careful with that.
Was it like that before, or was it like?
The B flat should not be too low as a double stop against the G. It just doesn't sound good when, as a harmonic interval, it's very wide.
Okay.
This is the case in point where when it gets difficult, you just take extra time. From which note do you take the time? So you have to borrow time for the grace notes from the quarter note before.
Okay.
2, 3.
Okay.
So when you're replacing, your B flat is ever so slightly sharp and your C is really low, and that's when you end up to that major sixth. All of a sudden, it's way too wide. So you have to make sure that this is better in tune. And now, since you're going to do this whole thing one more time, I wonder if you can use your vibrato to feel the vibrato pulse on every note. So you will begin, and with the vibrato going, so it needs to keep going because you have notes that you vibrate. You have like a couple of intervals that there is absolutely no vibrato on them. So you need to keep coloring. Yeah, vibrato pulse, vibrato pulse. So all of this has to be connected, voice-led, vibrated. Give it a try.
Okay.
So just a little bit better. Now, you don't necessarily have to vibrate the fifth. It sounds very funny. So now the fourth is definitely. So everything else around has to be vibrated. Now, give it one more try. I have the feeling that you're very timid with the bow. The bow has to sing it. Try playing just a single stop. So play the melody as a single stop. Great. Now, do you feel the inflection? So do you see how first note of every slur has more weight into it? Because that's where the biggest of the dissonances is. So that's where the sevenths are. So what can we do to bring that dissonance out?
You could try to add more weight in the bow with like your index finger, or you could add some wider vibrato.
Quick question for you, because if you do only that, but you don't change your sound point,
you have to move towards the roots.
Exactly. So all of these things have to be put together. Give it a try.
But also making the vibrato a little wider, would that help?
Yes, faster, just more expressive and wider if you can manage it. Yes.
Okay. Do I still do a single stop, or do I do it actually?
Well, let's try as a single stop one more time and just sing your heart out on that, okay? Great. Now let's add the second voice. And see if you can be freer in the vibrato. There's a little bit, the movement looks slightly restricted. So let the flutter be there.
Yeah.
Can you try to do that without any tripping?
Yeah.
Very good. Keep on going now, Ella. And the grace notes will borrow time from the quarter note before. Now, you're overholding a little bit the half note. Don't. It's only one count long. So 1, 2, da, da, 1, 2, da, da. That's the rhythm going through this. Go on. Okay, here you need to cue yourself a little bit better, with a little bit more skill. I would like to hear one more time from number 12, that top line, because not all of the rhythmic proportions sound quite right. I don't know whether it's Zoom buffering or something, but now, just when I heard you, did you stop your bow, or was that something that Zoom created?
I might have without noticing. I can try to make it more connected.
Right. Do you know when we need to stop the bow?
If there's
So
like
if you
dots
look
on
at
it.
15, do you see? Do you see the dots above the 8 notes?
Mm-hmm.
So now that's an indication that this is a hook. You stop your bow after the dotted quarter note. When there's no other indication, no articulation, nothing that tells you need to play something short, then you play things smooth. So all of this has to be legatissimo at 12. I don't see a single dot anywhere on that line. So give it a try.
I think
Right.
that transition.
Good. Now let's talk about how we're linking that delicatamente with the next variation. So you have to spend enough bow on that last up bow. Now also the shift. Needs to place your fingers in the right configuration so we don't end up playing something that's out of tune. Can I hear you slowly from... And be extra careful here, because your third finger moves on a half step, but first and second have to move on a whole step down.
Okay.
Right, and did you discover that you also need to stretch your pinky a little bit farther when you cross over to the A string for things to be in tune? So one more time, Ella. So all of this has to be better in tune, yes? That's right. And now let's see if we can also organize it rhythmically better. We've got that 9 tablet, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da. So see if you can feel that. Yes. Try to an apple.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit quicker and with more bow. That's right. And now, Ella, spend enough bow because you want the next variation to be in part of the bow where you can control of this. So it's not too far up here because those ups are going to be very difficult. You want to be just below the middle. So the end of the down bow should pretty much hit the middle, and it needs to start slightly below.
So.
That's right.
Okay.
And then here on the, you can lean a little bit more on the low note, and as you lean into the string, you also go with slower bow on it. We've established that, right? So each time that duplet occurs and you have you do the same thing. You slow the bow down, you put some vibrato, you emphasize that note by slightly elongating it. Give it a try. let's do a simplified version of all of this.
Are you
Down
recording
bows
this lesson?
are
Yeah.
always
Okay, good. Never mind.
legato. They're always smooth, right? So 1. So I want you to challenge yourself to stay with slower bow and very dense tone production.
What?
So the down bow is almost like the bridge is bringing the bow close to it, and then the up bows are with the release because they're more hyperactive, lighter, and quicker. So can you try that?
So is it like a circle, sort of?
Yeah, it's almost like a circle. It's a very squished circle, but it's a circle. Yes. Yes, and Ella, it's very important that the 3 ups are very even. Pa, pa, pa. And not pa, pa, pa. So the articulation and the lengths have to be very, very uniform. Slow the bow down on the down bow. Slow the bow down on the down bow. You don't have to start it all the way at the frog. So basically everything needs to be smaller. Ella, the bow on the down bow, the bow is hitting the string at very fast velocity. It needs to be slower. So consider the slowest part of the bow to be when you start the down bow. So slow, 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 really slow. And try to lean into the string. Do you see this element of sinking into the string? So it's not just staying on the surface, but if you can get that. What you're doing. You're trying to lift the bow between the down bow and the up bow. No, the up bows, they start from the string. From the string. Yeah, Ella, there's always a little bit of extra time between the down bow and the up bow. Can it be ta da da ta 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 ta?
Yeah.
Exactly. And now, can you think ta 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 ta, but stay ta 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 ta. So it's duplet, triplet, duplet, triplet. Yes, and now let's put this with the string crossing. You know what? Let's not skip this step. So there are 2 notes on the A string. Okay. This is your bow rhythm for this. Now add the left hand to this. Let the bow lead the rhythm though. That's better. That's much better. So with the rhythm being that good, now I wonder if we can also fix some of the down bow starts, because some of them are a little bit clunky and high from the air. So if you can always make sure that your sound sings from the way top. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's a very specific thing that you have to feel when the bow changes direction from up bow to this legato down bow. The up bow with the springs and all that, it's completely different feeling, but then the down bow has to the sound needs to start blooming right away. Could you try this one more time, Ella? And again, there is no lift between the down and the up bow. But look, I hear from you. So it's like you're throwing the bow when you start your down bow. The down bow, it's an entirely different feel in the body. It's almost like you have to regroup yourself. So it's almost like gently placing the bow on the string and continuing. So this needs to improve. Now, can you go on to the next variation?
It's really uneven.
Which hand has to be the even one?
The left hand.
The left hand, right. And there's a string crossing for the last 3 notes, right? So it has to be on time, but pretty much it's the drop and lift of the left hand fingers that determine how this one is going to go. Give it a try. Go a little bit slower. You need to connect the positions with a little bit more accuracy. Is your first finger helping you in this? Is it on the string passively? Good, it has to be there. Now for this one, it's a little bit too much for me to have it on both strings. I'm actually...
That's what I do too, yeah.
So, can you try that one more time? Go at your tempo, which is a little bit slower than mine. All right. Now, Ella, under your ear, how clean is the sound?
Not really clean. It's like a scratchy sort of.
Can you do something about that?
Okay.
Let's clean it up.
Clean my string because I got my bow re-haired and I needed to put a lot of rosin in it.
Okay, go ahead and put some more.
I can get it.
Let's try that one more time. It really makes a difference when you're paying attention to play with clean sound. You might end up using more bow, by the way.
Okay. I have a question. Whenever I switch back to the E string, my third finger lifts and you can hear the A string.
Yeah, can you keep your first finger down though? Look, sorry. It's easier on the hand if I go. Mine also kind of sounds funny, but so the trick is going to be to leave the third finger just a fraction longer on the A string. So see if that would work for you.
Okay.
Keep your first finger down on the first string. First finger has to be on the E string. Yes. Now your third finger needs to go back and forth between the E and the A strings.
Yeah, but
so
every
the first
time I
one stays
do
down.
that.
Look. So the first one stays the whole time down. So you go da 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 da. So when you move your fingers over to the A string, there's still somebody on the E string. So that first finger needs to remain on the E string. Yes, and I do hear the plucking noises that you're talking about. Now, look, if you're lifting your finger with a motion this way, that's what is creating it. Try to lift more like this.
Okay.
So the lift is quiet. Yes, and, Ella, you might have to, your hand is in a very open hand structure. You need to come a little bit more over this way. So curve more the third and the fourth fingers. Yes, that will help with the lifts. Now, the deeper you play in the string with the bow, the less we will hear the plucking noise that you're making.
Okay.
And from what I see in the part, it says poco a poco crescendo, and I'm not hearing you do it. Can you do it, please?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of rhythmic liberties you're taking.
Yeah. I'll fix that.
To be honest, he's not going to be happy. Your audience is not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Can you try it with better rhythmic organization? So very rhythmic left hand, and sink the bow deep in the string the whole time. Go on. Now, why all of a sudden again this kind of sound? Doesn't it bother you, Ella?
Yeah.
Oh, are you aware when you're making it?
Not usually.
Not usually? You don't hear yourself? You don't listen to yourself while you play?
I do. I just listen to like the intonation, but I should probably listen to everything.
Oh yeah, tone. For tone, you both listen, but you also feel it. And to me, whenever I feel this, it's a very kind of dry, lacking resonance and reverberance type of sound that I feel. And it's always a red flag when I'm doing something like this, because you have your ears, they give you instant feedback. And if you don't react to that feedback, then you're not fixing anything. Now, nobody develops such perfect technique of playing that they just put the bow on the violin without thinking or imagining the sound or without listening, and just something comes out. It has to come from you wanting to hear something, and if what comes back at you is this kind of thing, you should be absolutely doing something about it. Okay, now again, I hear the emergency shifting. In other words, you slow down when it gets difficult, regardless whether it makes musical sense or not. So the shifting, you just have to fix your rhythm. That's it. Now, on the up bows, travel. So you need to get to a lower part of the bow for the down bows. All right, can you do that one more time without all the emergencies?
Wait, so you're saying in between like the measures I'm slowing down?
When you have big shifts, okay. Yes, you are. So you have to fit the shifts within the rhythm that's on the page.
Okay.
See? That was an accident, obvious. You know, where you missed the note, you missed the shift, and you also took time with the rhythm. So all of these things have to be much more accurate. Now, Ella, I keep hearing from you. So those E flats don't sound with very healthy sound to me. It's true that it has to be more or less, but it has to be all with very singing, pure tone instead of with scratch. The angle at which you're playing, your bow is angled a lot like this, which produces a lot of scratch. So can you straighten your bow? Yes. That's a whole lot better. Now, Ella, are you cognizant of sound point changes for basically every note on which you're playing? Are you thinking of that, or are you only thinking of the bow weight and the bow speed?
Just now I was only thinking about the weight and speed.
You need to add the third dimension, because without it, it's not enough. It's always going to be very frustrating just with speed and pressure. So, do you see what the bow is doing? Now, I'm exaggerating that, and that's why I'm beginning to scratch, but... So, the moment I think of getting deep into the string, my instant reaction is to bring the bow near the bridge, and I'm making this motion toward me because I'm bringing the bow closer to the bridge. Do you see that happening? So, and then for the second note, which is the lighter note, I let go of that, and that's how I'm able to get this more or less. So see if you can do that. Okay, now do you see how on the up bow, because of that general crescendo that you have written during those 4 notes, you need to get the bow closer to the bridge as you approach the frog. Yeah, can you try that? Slower bow on the first note. Slower bow.
Well, that's wrong, but you know, that's the...
Yeah. And when you shorten the string for the big shift, you also need to move. Yes, near the bridge like that. Can you try this one more time? Again, slower bow on the expressive note. Near the bridge with really slow bow. Yes, that's the idea. Right, and notes, right? So both notes are short. That's right. And then again on the slurred ones, try to get a little bit closer to the bridge. Ella, the up bow needs to begin from the string. So on the string, so the lifts are against lift, lift. Again, you're doing a lot of emergency tempo changes in this. It has to stay much more even. All of these things have to be much more even. Still, the landing mechanism has to be with much more subtlety and subtlety in the motion rather than having just sort of feel there. So can you be just this the very last thing? Oh, you need to go. Hi, Annabeth.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry we have to take this wonderful teacher and wonderful student, separate you for what, 1 week?
Right. So is she busy the whole day tomorrow? Can we finish this tomorrow or no way?
Yeah, well, she was supposed to be busy today, but she got kind of grounded for some of it. So, so what are we doing tomorrow?
I'm not.
We're going to church at 10:30. We leave.
And then we come back at like.
So what do you have? What do you have? Tell me.
Well, I haven't heard from Katie, so that's a little bit up in there. But let me grab my Ella. You go.
Ella, run downstairs.